Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at the BMW M3 convertible in A+, and S. So that's going to be 3 different builds in this one for you. And the cool thing about this is that every single one of them keeps the stock 4.0 liter V8 engine. I did that on purpose with this one just because engine swaps can get expensive. As you can see, there are $400,000 engines in there. Yes, it gives you a lot of stuff, and I probably could have made a better S build if I would have switched to one of these last 2 engines. But I wanted to try and keep it a little bit cheaper, and all you have to do is pay for the parts then, and, you know, obviously the car. So for the A build, the parts are Sport, Induction, Sport ECU, Sport Fuel System, Pro Exhaust, Sport Dual Turbocharger, Sport Nitrous, Elite Neutral Suspension, Pro Brakes, Elite Grip Tires, Super Clutch, the Pro 6-speed gearbox, the Elite Differential with Super Nitrous Grip and Drift. The handling is 50% grip with steering sensitivity all the way up. The downforce is in the middle, traction control is off, and drift entry is brake tap. All in all, this will give us a pretty good for A-class top speed of 175 miles per hour, a 0 to 60 of 4.2, and a quarter mile of 12.6 with 473 horsepower, which is quite a bit for A-class. So let's go hop into an A race and see how this thing does, as I have yet to race it. Okay, so here we are in off the grid. Let me get this launch right here, and beautiful, there we go. Not too bad off the line. It's an A-class car, so sometimes those are a little hard to tell if they're good or not. But that felt pretty good coming off, and I'm already in the lead, so you can never complain about that one. And in the little bit I have raced, and whoa, watch out for the cop there. The handling feels pretty good. I didn't brake, I just let off the gas coming around that corner, and then it held that one pretty well. So at 55% grip, I mean, I can't complain about how that just handled. Let's see. Pretty nice drift right there, so I'm not upset about that either. And we'll just cut a little grassy corner, because why do you not want to? Save yourself a little bit of time. And we'll go around this one. The off-road there made it slide a little bit that I wasn't expecting it to, so I guess that's something to be aware of at a little bit higher speeds going off-road, is that it can slide on you if you're not careful. But so far, this is seeming alright. And I am getting pretty far ahead of the AI, which really isn't a difficult task. Oops! That car came out of nowhere! That was the game going, oh, you want to trash talk the AI, do you? Well, here you go, have this car in your face. It would help if I wasn't recording on the same computer that I'm playing on, but because of that, it causes my computer to bog down, which explains why you are seeing choppy video, even though on my screen it's smooth. The recorded video is a little choppy though. But the graphics have gone down in quality because of the processing power being used for 2 different things. So what are you gonna do? Till I've got enough money to get myself a second wow, that was, I don't think I've ever done that, ever in that spot. In this race, or the race that this is stealing from, I have never done that. Anyway, yeah, one of these days maybe I'll get a second computer, and then I don't have to play and record on the same one, and I don't have to have some of these performance issues that I'm having right now. But right now, it is what it is, and it just is. I could build these out on PlayStation, but when I'm going to be spending a lot of money, I tend to do it on the PC, because it takes, even with the increased money payouts, it still seems to take a little longer than I'd like to get the money together that is necessary for these. Wait, this isn't this is the normal race. I thought this one was a different race. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I thought the game confused me because it calls it an endurance race, but this is a very common race in the game. So ignore some of what I had said earlier. Yeah, I'm not upset about how that car just handled for an A-class race. I was able to finish that in 3:14. Really not that bad. I'm going to go slap in the A-plus parts and see how it does in that class. Okay, so here we are with the A-plus version of this car. Again, you stick with the stock 4.0 liter V8 engine. The parts, it is basic induction, basic ECU, basic fuel system. Still stick with the Pro exhaust, but we're going to slap in the Super Screw supercharger, the Sport nitrous, the Elite neutral suspension, Pro brakes, the Elite grip tires. We're going to put in the Elite clutch. We are going to switch to the Super 7-speed gearbox, the Elite differential, Super nitrous grip and drift. For the handling, we are still at 50% grip, steering sensitivity all the way up, downforce is in the middle, traction control is off, and drift entry is brake tap. This will give us a top speed of 205 miles per hour, so really good for those long straight races in A-class, or I'm sorry, A-plus class, and a 0-60 of 3.8, which is decent for A-plus because a lot of them are still around 4 seconds. It'll give us a quarter mile of 12 seconds and a 555 horsepower. Alright, let's go do this now. Alright, we are rolling through the long climb. I'm going to get this launch. See how we do on a little bit of dirt coming off of here. Alright, so not too bad. I've already worked my way up to 4th. We're on dirt, so I'm not surprised my acceleration is garbage at the moment. But I'm going to go ahead and get around these two right here, or at least one of them, I guess. And let's see. Are you in my way? You are, but... Oh, that was close. Oh, it's on now? Okay. Let's go. Bring it on, seeing as it's on. I'm just gonna draft that for a minute. I'm just gonna slide right on past him. And there we go. So it took a little bit longer to get the lead than I would have liked or expected to. But I am there. And I almost missed that checkpoint. Thankfully I did not. So just this little bit of racing this in A+, I feel the acceleration could be a little bit better than what it currently is. It just feels kind of slow and sluggish. Even though I'm starting to pull away. I am happy with how the car handles though. It does that quite well and it seems to build up the burst NOS without a problem. Sorry, a little itch there. Alright. And we are still pulling on them. This thing really does seem to want a corner just the way you would want it to. It kind of tends to hug the road the way you would expect. When you tell it to drift, it drifts in a way that's predictable. And it doesn't really want to overdrift much, which is also a positive. But all that, I mean, that's all exactly how I would have expected things to go. So it is handling really well. And while I am pulling away from the AI, I'm not quite putting the distance I would... Whoa, that was a mistake. The distance I would want to put. Yeah, that was... Whoops. So, that was a mistake on my part. And then I forgot that that corner was as sharp as it was. So again, a mistake on my part. So the final time on this race will be slightly affected by such things. But there's not a whole lot you can really do about it sometimes. You just make mistakes and you hope for the best. I have pulled away a little bit more. It doesn't appear that that car is going to get anywhere near the top speed in any of those courses, which doesn't surprise me. It's an A+ race and it was windy, topsy-turvy. If it was a straight race, I think the top speed would get hit. It's just a matter of, you know, having that available in single player, and I'm too lazy to advance the days. So I'm going to go build the S-Class build, which is where I think this car will shine, and we'll go from there. Alright, so for the S build, again, sticking with the stock engine. Like I said, this build of cars was meant to be slightly cheaper, viable builds for these races. This one I feel like is probably pretty good though. So for the parts, it is a super party. So we have super induction, super ECU, super fuel system, super exhaust, super screw, super charger, but sport nitrous. The elite neutral suspension, the pro brakes, the elite grip tires, the elite clutch, the super 7-speed gearbox, the elite differential, and super nitrous grip and super nitrous drift. For the handling, we stick with 50% grip. We stick with steering sensitivity being all the way up, but we move the downforce to the right 1, with traction control off and drift entry is set to brake tap. That will give us a very nice 216 miles per hour, a 0 to 60 of 3.1, and a quarter mile of 10.9, with a pretty respectable horsepower of 796. With all that being said, let's go do this. Alright, so we're going to test things out with Rapid Transit here, as this is usually a pretty decent race to test cars out on, and also a very common multiplayer race. I'm just going to split those two apart and accidentally bump into this. Get out of my way. You're making me go slower than I want to. So now I'm going to draft, and I mean, off the line it didn't feel bad, but it wasn't the best. Oh, look at that though. That is friggin' beautiful. And then it overdrifted a little at the end, but oh my goodness, that was good. So let's see how it does through this section, which can be the danger zone for this race. And has anybody ever noticed on this race that in single player, you don't see that train very often, whereas in multiplayer, it kind of decides the outcome of the race quite a lot. I've seen it just kind of, anytime you're not in first place, that train is right there going, haha, I'm going to slow you up, and there's nothing you can do about it. Let's see, down this stretch I can get up to 186, 189, 191. I mean, I broke 190, so that's good. And let's see how we can do going around this part now that I've got some speed built up. Still doing pretty good. Not complaining about it, that's for sure. That is a beautiful drift on that part of the course. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a car that I've built anyways, or driven, do that amazing drifting that corner. So kudos to this car for that, at least, if nothing else, because we'll see what the final time is, and I know what I can do on this course in other vehicles, so it's just a matter of, did I get anywhere near that time or not? And you know, can I do it without screwing up as well? Would have been nice to have some burst coming out of that corner, but I screwed it up. That was my fault, which slowed down how much speed I had coming down that stretch right there. And this final turn, or final time, not final turn. Oh, I screwed it up that time. I screwed it up. No. Ah, well. Can't win them all with perfection, I suppose. Don't you dare. I thought for sure that cop was going to put itself right in front of me and make me crash. Same with that one. Because the cops are nothing but annoying in the single player races. They serve no purpose other than to get into your way. Again, I've said this before in the past, I don't think they've ever busted a racer during a race. Like, if they could do that, that would be kind of cool, but I don't think they can. I don't think the AI has that kind of power in these races. There we go, pretty good burst. Let's just finish this out. We are going to finish at about 3 minutes, it looks like. Let's see what it says the final time is here. Yeah, 3 minutes, 0.31 seconds. Not the fastest, definitely not the worst. It handled really well. It felt really good. So this is kind of a mid-tier car. I think it's really good in A-Class. I think A-Class is where this one shines at. A-Plus was eh. This was like middle of the road. It's not the fastest car by any means, but definitely not the slowest. And it handles real nice. So there you go. 3 builds for this car. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Leave the comments down below. Smash on the like button. And I will catch you in the next one.